So pulse water cobras, they're not a true cobra. A lot of people kind of panic and freak out when I say their name because well, there's cobra in the name. And as we all know, you going through my hair? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Alright.
Thanks for clicking on our thumbnail there. Steve here, Canadian Exotic Sanctuary. I'm just on my way to the airport. Pick up a box of venomous snakes that are coming in from Calgary. They were surrendered. There's a gentleman there, needs to find them a home, and he contacted us, so shipped them with WestJet. I'm going to go pick them up. And on the way as well, I'm stopping meeting another guy. He's surrendered a red-tailed boa, a common boa, to us a couple months back, and now he's got 2 ball pythons he also wants to surrender to us with their setup. So gonna grab all these snakes and then head her home. Check out this beautiful sunset though. Video never does it justice, but we are just on the Trans-Canada Highway now, heading into Winnipeg. The airport's about a 50-55 minute drive from our place. We're about 10 minutes southeast of the center of Canada, so that right here is the center of Canada, and then it's about another 10 minutes to the perimeter, and then on from there to pick up the snakes. So sitting out here waiting a little early, but oh man, so I just got those ball pythons. Check this out. So I show up there to meet this gentleman, and originally he was going to come and drop them off over at our place, but because I had to come in and pick up the snakes at the airport, I figured I'd save him the trip coming outside from the city and make it a little bit easier. But he was almost like close to downtown. I didn't want to go all the way into the city when I had to go right way to the airport after, so he said he could meet me at the Sobeys on North Main by the perimeter there as I was ripping around. So I went in, and he pulls up and opens up the back of his SUV, and there's the 2 ball pythons sitting in this nice big enclosure that is completely wide open. It has sliding doors, and as he's driving, it was moving, so they could easily get out. But luckily, they seem kind of lethargic. Not good. Not good at all. I didn't have a closer look. I didn't want to do that in the parking lot. So anyway, and he brought 2 extra tanks. Like when he described dropping them off, he said he had an Exoterra, the 36 long, another one that was similar, a little bit smaller, like a Zoom Ed, and then the tank that they're in, which wasn't very big. So I assumed like a 15-30 gallon, not this, I think it's 4.5, 5 feet long tank that's heavy and not really quite appropriately sized. Regardless, if I knew what he was bringing, I would have brought my truck, but I figured I could fit it in Kenzie's car, but that was not the case. The Zoom Head tank actually wouldn't fit. I tried getting it in the front seat, but there was no room, and it was cracked on the bottom, the front, and the side, and a hole in the lid, so I ended up just throwing it in the BFI bin in the dumpster there, because that's all about it was good for. I could have maybe saved a few pieces of glass off of it, but there was no way I was getting it home. So anyways, once we get home, we'll have a close look at these guys, quarantine them, and once all goes well, then we can get them set up for adoption. So I'm going to go in and see if our snakes are ready for pickup here at WestJet. So yeah, common story with surrendered snakes like this. They had them for just over 2 years, but mom and dad separated. Snakes were with the kids at mom's, but mom doesn't want anything to do with the snakes. And the kids are getting older and not interested in playing with them as much, so dad was tasked with rehoming them. And here they are. She has like 3 abscesses in her mouth and looks a little scrawny, so we'll quarantine these guys and make sure they're happy and healthy, take them to the vet if needed, and then after a while, if they're good to go, then we'll be able to adopt them out and find them new homes. Now let's check out what's in that other box. Alright, Kenzie, what is that beautiful creature you're holding?
This is Mr. Whiskers. He is a green cat snake. So these guys are from Asia. And, well, they're green, and they have these really big, almost cat-like eyes. So, it's kind of why they get the name. Let's see if he's shy or not.
Trying to focus on him, but he's very active.
He is very active. He loves to climb. He's a little taken aback because I just woke him up. These guys are primarily nocturnal. They feed mostly on like lizards, sometimes frogs, a lot of tree frogs and stuff, some birds, and some small rodents that end up making their way up into the trees, but primarily lizards. So they are rear-fanged venomous. They do have small fangs at the back of their jaw, so they're mildly venomous, but not super significant. And honestly, the chances of actually getting envenomated are pretty slim anyway, because since they're rear-fanged, they would have to chew to actually get their venom in. If he did a quick strike to defend himself, if I startled him or upset him in any way, a quick bite isn't going to envenomate. It's mainly for his food. It helps basically calm his food down so that he can eat it easier. So it's not super medically significant to humans. With any venom, sometimes people have reactions, just like with bees and wasps and stuff. Everybody reacts to venoms a little bit differently, but for the most part it is fairly mild, and he's pretty chill. He really likes to climb.
Right on. So we've had him for a couple weeks now. This video's taking a little longer. He had a migraine when I got home, and then we've been busy, so we got him in quarantine, settled down. He's already been to the vet, got a clean bill of health from them. They love meeting him. And now he's just been settled. He's had a couple meals already as well. So,
Yep.
All right, let's see what else we had picked up here. So the main reason we picked up these animals that were being surrendered from Calgary was that the gentleman needed to rehome them in a short amount of time, and he gave us this pair of gorgeous false water cobras. With the pair, we also got 8 of their babies, so we will be looking for homes for those children, although I think Kenzie's already claimed one. Of course, it's the...
I claimed 2 of them.
we'll see about that, but of course it's the prettiest and feistiest, so we'll see how that goes. But no names. These ones, again, have been vet checked and quarantined. I think they even had a couple meals, and as you can see, very handleable. For those who don't know too much about these guys, you want to give us a few details?
False water cobras, they're not a true cobra. Some people panic when I say the name cobra, but they're not in relation to them whatsoever. They're not a true cobra at all. They are rear-fanged venomous, so they do have a mild venom, just like the cat snake that we showed, but they're fairly mild and fairly reluctant to bite. The reason they get the name cobra is because, as a defense, they will hood, similar to a cobra. They don't go up like a cobra though, so most cobras will hood and have a defensive posture, kind of vertical. These guys typically actually go horizontal. So they'll stay low to the ground and they'll widen quite a bit of their body. It's not just a hood around their neck. Sometimes they'll widen a couple feet and make themselves look as flat and as big as possible. And that's to intimidate either predators or anything around them that they don't want being near them. So it is very fascinating to watch that behavior. With the old ones here, they're fairly used to people. It's not common that we really see them hood. I've seen her hood, I think once, and that was when I opened the door because I startled her. But otherwise, she does stay pretty relaxed. Another name for them is a Brazilian smooth snake as well, because their scales are quite large and super, super smooth. So,
When they're very aquatic, they love to swim. They're really good at it.
they do. They're fantastic swimmers.
They need a large enclosure and a big water body.
Yes. No, they love swimming, love climbing, they love digging, so you need to have all the space. Not just terrestrial, not just arboreal, not just aquatic, you need to have all 3 basically. So.
Right on, let's take a look at a couple of those babies quick. Obviously not going to look at all of them, but let's look at at least the 2 nice ones you want.
Sounds good.
Okay. Now, which one of the 2 babies is this that you love so much?
This is the number 1 that I like, mainly because it has a very unique pattern compared to all the other babies. Might show off one more just to show the comparison, but this one is also the most feisty. Doesn't usually like to be held. I've already calmed it down a little bit so it wasn't going crazy when I brought it out, but it is very cage defensive, which is understandable because they're so young.
Cool, let's check out the other one.
So this is a lot more typical patterning. A little bit lighter colored and more bands. The other one had a little bit more striping, but the reason I like this one, it's my second choice, is this particular pattern. It's the second band down its back. It makes an almost M shape, which I think is pretty cute. This one also...
We can't keep everything just because it has like a random cool scale pattern.
I disagree. I think that we can, because I think it's awesome. This one's a little bit bigger too. That first one is a little bit smaller. Seems to be a little bit more behind as far as development goes. So I do want to keep a closer eye on it. So that's the main reason that one is also kind of a keep back, just to make sure that it's strong and healthy.
So if anyone is looking to add a false water cobra to their collection, make sure you're obviously legally allowed to and you have the experience. But feel free to message us, reach out with any questions you have. And remember, we are in Canada, but we can ship coast to coast. Again, make sure you know your laws. Those are our new additions from Calgary that were surrendered. So again, thanks for watching as always. If you have any questions, shoot us a message. Feel free to like, subscribe, definitely hit that little bell, and tune in for our next episode. Cheers.